Good afternoon. Miller Road here from one of his favorite little towns in western PA. To me, it's rather picturesque. He's got some pretty good memories. Johnsonburg. Just figure I'd make this live video as a little personal diary, I guess, of my stealth camp summer journey 2025. Yeah, I'm still stealth camping in St. Mary's, but my friend wanted to take a little drive. So I said, well, let's take a little walk to Johnsonburg. This town was built around a paper mill. That's it. A lot of wilderness. There's a pretty big train yard here. If someone was ever in freight on up toward Buffalo, and if they were on the Buffalo-Pittsburgh line, they would end up coming through here. And it either slows down or sometimes stops briefly and starts back up. It goes pretty slow. This whole style here of architecture was kind of low income for the workers at the paper mill, and I think it was mostly Italian around here. I may be mistaken, but I don't think I am. Oh, there's a new bakery in town. The town is not, doing really that good financially, I don't think. There's been a couple of bars and stuff that's come and gone, and there's a pizza place or a restaurant, I think it was, and that's not there anymore. Well, this is kind of cute. They have a lot of these in the small towns here in western PA. See, a little bit of a. Sometimes they have more in it than at others. This is the community center. It's got a really good gym. I'm not saying it's the best gym in the world or anything, but it is a pretty good gym, especially for, small town, backwater town PA. It's only like $27 a month or $25 a month, and you get 24-hour access because they give you a key card. I'd actually like to go there again. It's really easy to stealth camp up in the hills around here. To me, this town is rather picturesque. Like any town, the locals that lived here their whole life would never appreciate it as much as somebody like myself who's got an eye for the picturesque. It's got some low income and stuff. It got some slumlords and stuff, but to me, it kind of adds to the charm because it's kind of set in the middle of the wilderness. It's just plunked right down in the wilderness, and I love the looks much better than St. Mary's, but I do in general, I like the people and the shopping and stuff, a little bit of the conveniences of St. Mary's, but I really love the stealth camping here. Look at that. Is that totally cool? That's the paper mill in the middle of the town. Yeah, old Italian. A lot of A lot of Catholics. A lot of them don't know why they're Catholic per se. They're just keeping the tradition alive. They have things like that in their yard. It's kind of cool in a way. It kind of looks like some of the neighborhoods around the Pittsburgh area, but it's just way the heck out, you know, in Elk County. It looks a little bit like, if you go up to the hill back behind this factory, there's like if you walk through the woods and you don't know how to get there, there's this really cool overlook, and it's like a cliff edge. And you look down at the factory and there's like some railroad tracks and things. And it really does look a lot like the opening scene in the movie Ladies and Gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains, which was filmed in not Johnsonburg, Johnstown, that's it, Johnstown. Johnstown is not a very good town, and it's a lot bigger and it's rougher, but there's a few scenes in this town that actually resemble scenes in the more larger and more rougher Johnstown. Figure I'll take you through the area here if anyone's interested, and if not, I'll be able to look back on the video someday and remember. If anything ever happened to me, I'll leave it behind. And I tell you, life is short. One thing I've accomplished since I've been here is starting to get back in shape. Like, I'm in shape enough to, you know, live on the road out of a backpack for a while. But it was hard. I was getting a little bit, the aging process was kind of stepping up, you know, and I had to go through some changes that were hard. Oh, hey, Melody. This is Johnsonburg. Now, you want to talk about getting some exercise. You can't really see it from here, but those roads around here, they're like San Francisco. They go straight up. And there's lots and lots of wilderness. I've been in all the woods up around here, and I like the look, to be honest with you. It's really cool. It smells a little bit like sulfur because that's a paper mill. I think it's just got it's got charm, just a charm to it. Now this is a beautiful road here. About a half a mile or so down, the town just abruptly ends. And it's just wilderness. There's a few houses dotted along, you know, the roadside, but for the most part, it just turns into wilderness, and you end up in a place called Bigo. It's a nice little park, and it's got picnic tables. It's got a swimming pool that's open to the public, and it's, you know, barbecue setups, you know, and it's just a nice place to walk around. The only thing is you don't get no cell phone reception. I can't make any live videos there because there's just no cell phone reception, because it's in the middle of nowhere. And then you got Glen Hazel, which that's kind of a very pretty area that there is. And now we're going to near the factory here. This town's only got maybe 2,000 people, maybe 2,500. And it's not connected to bigger metro areas or nothing. It's pretty much out in the middle of nowhere. This is, you know, why there's anything here at all. If this place ever shut down, the town would a lot of the town would decay. Nice to see you again, Melody. While. And up there, that's the overhang. You got to go meander around through the woods, but when you get up there, you overlook and you get to see all this stuff, and it really does look like the opening scene in the movie Ladies and Gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains, which is from like 1982. It's got, I forgot her name. Diane Lane, I think. She was a kid. The, the singer from the Tubes, the band the Tubes, he was in that movie. They had some pretty good music, actually, and it was a decent story. But the opening scene was actually filmed in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And she was overlooking one of the old steel mills that was shut down, and because it got flooded out in the Johnstown flood. You see railroad tracks and things, and I swear it looks exactly, this cliff up there, it looks exactly like that scene. It's a really beautiful, that forest, it goes for miles. I've walked the railroad tracks like up there. The train goes real slow, and there's like a real horseshoe bend. So if anybody was ever coming through on a train, they get off the train, get a night's sleep. If they had a few bucks in, and if they had a few bucks in their pocket, they could hang around and enjoy the town. And about twice a day, there's trains that go north and south. If you take this, if you jump out here, you'll go straight down to Du Bois. You'll be down Du Bois in time. And then it slows down, you can get off in Du Bois. And if you kept going, you go down toward Pittsburgh or Johnstown. But that's rough down there. The trick about Pennsylvania is knowing where not to go. There we go, look at that. This is really cool. This is the Clarion River. Sure is running a little dirty this year. This has not been a good year for produce. It's just not been any good. And the foliage is nothing. It's just not happening this year for some reason. Well, I'm probably going to keep this a little short. I just, don't know who would want to watch it. I lived in this town on and off. I roommated. I had a really good deal. I got the upper floor of a duplex. Somebody let me rent years back, and I rented on and off for a few years, several years. So I'm pretty familiar with the town. I just love it here. Just look at how cool this looks. It just looks so 80s. It really does. It looks like an old steel mill town. It looks 80s. It's just really cool. Beautiful forestry up there. It just goes, it's wonderful looking. Or if you get a little past all of this stuff and you walk those railroad tracks, it's got nice natural springs, pretty clean water, and dotted along the way here and there, and lots of places to camp. It's just endless. You can walk it for many miles. This is a easy fuel and smoke shop. And up there, it's kind of nice. There's a lot of forest up there. I've walked up there. The name of the paper mill is called Domtar. It employs a lot of people. It's the one thing that keeps the town alive. No, yes, glad to stay connected, my friend. Thank you. Quite a beautiful place. Yeah, it's got a charm. I mean, it's an acquired taste. Like I say, people that grow up in an area like this, rarely do they like it or appreciate it. But I do, especially because I have a stealth camping background. I mean, if you got a few bucks in your pocket, all you have to do is just go back in them woods right over there. You can set up a tent all over the place around here doing it. There's no homeless. There's people that are probably like technically homeless that they know they have family, they're just not working. Sometimes they get out of jail and they don't have an apartment anymore. They got thrown out of the place that they were living in, or they had a girlfriend that they're fighting and they're just out, And couch surf. There's those type of homeless people, but there's not like no homeless encampments or anything here. There's no trouble with them. If there's any trouble, it's people that probably are peddling a little bit of, you know, modern street chemistry, if you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say any occurring to the algorithm. Because I don't want to have my little video taken down. You never know what's going to do it nowadays. I'll tell you, I'm noticing that are finally taking a hit. I mean, they're really going up. A lot of things are going up. I think one of the best things that I've done is I left the apartment that I was in and I just invested all of my resources in more time in the storage unit and getting in shape. And I'll tell you, I have to work really hard that I get. I'm not naturally gifted as an athlete. But I finally kind of go over the hump, you know. Over my sticking points, and I'm a little out of the physical slumps that I was kind of finding myself in. There's some nice water. I don't know, this is some, I should have learned, but I don't know the name of this creek. It's not the Clarion. Well, and then there's another neighborhood down that way. And as you go down this way, there's a really good called Elk County Foods, and I recommend it. It's pretty good. It's small, and it's kind of got a local feel. But I would say they got a better than average food selection. Healthy foods, and I mean, I'm not saying they got a ton of variety, but they do have a pretty decent variety of, let's say, vegan choices and things. I mean, you got to be a bit creative, and it's not going to be the top notch, but it's enough to get by if you're into veganism. So anyways, I guess it would be fun to take a longer hike. I like it here so much, but have to have an economy. Yep. I'll tell you, I think that we're through for some, possibly some collapse, you know, economic, and maybe the entitlement programs, welfare programs. I think they're going to start cutting a lot of what they would at or waste spending, and I think that we're going to be feeling a pinch before too long. And people in the West, we haven't really gone through those difficult times like people in other countries, and we've had it pretty easy for a long time. And the only way we've been able to stay as fortunate financially as we have, really, is because they kept creating artificial financial bubbles, and sooner or later it's going to catch up. I've been talking about it for a lot of years. You know, conspiracy theorists, alternative media, a lot of the more right-winger type people have been talking about it. But I mean, sooner or later, something is probably going to jump off, and there's probably going to be a lot of civil unrest. There's going to be a lot more increase in homeless. Sure. That's why I think it's really good to get storage units and start stocking up on things like food and winter gear, just in case, you know, anything ever happened. More and more people are living out of RVs, and some people are outright homeless. I think picking the right area strategically, extremely important. You definitely don't want to pick an area that's already got homeless and drug problems. It's crime problems and things. That's why I keep staying in this area. The only downfall to this area is the winter, but it's not as bad as New England. It's not as bad as the North Midwest. It's survivable, but it takes a heck of a lot of you. And usually I get sick once in the beginning of winter, which I really hate going through. Well, anyway, thank you for joining me, Melody, and anybody else who's watching. It's a 20-minute video. I better... Oh, here's a train. That train will be going down to Du Bois. There's a lot of tankers that come up through here, but they do have a mix of gondola and a few grainers. There's always a couple of grainers and gondolas on the trains, but it's mostly these tankers, nothing to ride. See how slow? And then there's a real, like a bend, and it only goes like that fast, so anybody hopping through, this is the place to get on and get off, you know. That was cool. It's usually twice a day. They got lots of wilderness up there. They even got a place where there's some caves, not big or anything, but pretty, you know, big enough to set up a small two-man tent in, you know, one of them. And not really safe though. I've heard coyotes and stuff up there. There could be snakes. What's up? The thing east is you could be really close to town and stealth camp and pull it off. I notice out west you've got to go through a lot of open land that surrounds the towns in order to get to a place that's woodsy. So you got to cross like a flat prairie, you know, and before you get to the woods to hide yourself away. And then when you get to the woods out west, you generally only got like the spruce pine. A little bit of aspen here and there, but not much. It's mostly just spruce pine. When out here, you just walk off a couple of blocks and you're in the woods. And usually it's not this fall's not very good, but this is so far the dullest fall I've ever seen. But usually it's really lovely. It's kind of cool look here. It's almost like a postcard, or it's kind of picturesque with the old church on the steeple. Up on the hill, and then that's just where the town ends. You can actually just see the border of the town, and then it's just nothing but wilderness. And they got springs up there that are tapped with PVC, and it's pretty cool. I can think of two springs really close to one another, only just 4 or 5 blocks straight up a hill. Well, it's nice to see you again, Melody. I haven't seen our friend Jim in a while. I hope he's doing okay. If you're watching this, Jim, say hi, my friend. God bless you. However you want to take that. I know you believe in at least spirit source energy. It reveals itself to people in many different ways. God bless you. Bendigo State Park, 4 miles. That's that place I said it has the picnic tables and the swimming pool. It's really nice. Only problem is I can't make any videos because, yeah, I still got the same phone. Oh, wow, look at this. This used to be a furniture. Now it's, I don't know if you can see it. It's a Ferrari. Yeah. Huh. This here is, I think it's Market Street or Center Street, one of the two. It used to be the main street. Now yep, I'm in the best shape I've been in a long time. I can see my shape even coming in. I really worked hard this year. And thank goodness I had a lot of recovery because I was getting pretty wore out. I was homeless for almost 3 years straight, except for a little bit here and there. I took a couple of breaks, but when I got that apartment, I really was able to. I went to the gym for a while, and when I couldn't go anymore, I didn't completely stop, but I stopped training heavy, and I did a lot of recovery. And I only did the minimal requirements to keep my to maintain. But during the process, I started aging a bit and started losing some of that conditioning. So when I got back out on the road, I did good when I was fresh. When I went down to Amish country, and then I got back to Du Bois after that little trip, I started feeling fatigue set in, and I just wasn't as ready as I thought. How about this? Noah Road. This is kind of a cool place. I always wanted, that would be a cool apartment, wouldn't it? Steelworkers, Johnsonburg, PA. There's some kind of a factory over here. It's real small. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd be okay for a year. I got my health up enough to where I'd be okay for a year if I really didn't have anything. I got my spirituality up pretty good too. I pretty much, spiritually speaking, I found what I was looking for, I think, at this point. I mean, there's always refining. It's not like I've expanded or been enlightened as much as I would hope. But I found what I'm looking for. I genuinely have. I mean, not a lot of people would resonate with it, but I do. I definitely believe that, you know, the spirit source, I think that there's a spirit source energy that underlines all things, and I think our spiritual bias and religious bias, as long as we keep it in proper perspective, is a corridor that gives us access to the spirit source energy, which underlines and undergirds all things. I think it's a very important part of life, especially if you're on Noah Road. What the heck am I going to do with a secular mindset if that's all I got? If I just am going to dissolve and come to nothing, gosh, that would just kind of be too traumatizing for me to play around with. Well, anyways, I had fun. It was nice reminiscing with one of my favorite places. I'd really love to come up here again with a new phone and with a new fresh iCloud, but I just don't have the money for all that stuff, so I'm using the same old phone, and the only platform I got to stay in touch is the live format, which I'm not really happy with. Well, here we go. Back to the all right, well, if you're still there, thank you for visiting. Thanks for stopping by, Melody Z. I appreciate it. It's nice to see you again. I guess I'm gonna go and find my friend, and we're gonna go somewhere else. I guess. This will be a good addition to my my video diary for Noah's Stealth Camp Adventure 2025. From Johnsonburg, Elk County, PA. 9 miles outside of Du Bois. kind of in the middle of nowhere, near the Dom Tower factory. Noah Road. Wishing you all well. Stay in touch. Over and out. For now.